My name's Katie Gilder. I'm a registered dietitian. I have worked for the last 5 years in adolescent eating disorders. An eating disorder is a mental health diagnosis. There's a wide range of causes. So there's definitely a genetic component. There's a cultural component. There's no one thing that causes one. And what the symptoms look like, it can really vary. I think we have a lot to learn still, or society does, in terms of kind of how to work with people with eating disorders, how to understand, how to just be really neutral about people's bodies and nutrition and not talk about stuff like real women have curves. Well, actually, real women come in all shapes and sizes, and real men come in all shapes and sizes. It doesn't matter. They're all good. I have worked with adolescent men. They definitely seek help less often. We know that. That's definitely something that I think there's room in the field to work on, is making sure that we're more inclusive of all the different people who just have different kinds of eating disorders. In the beginning, it feels like you're in control of it. You don't necessarily realize that what you're doing is harmful. So it can be really hard for people to realize that they need help and then accept help. Mental health coverage is not always great. There's only so many treatment facilities, and a lot of times there's wait lists because there's just not as much care for mental health. Admitting that you have an eating disorder is a big part of it, and then being able to find services. Body image is the first thing to go and the last thing to come back. It's a lot of work to go from hating your body to loving your body and feeling confident. So we talk a lot about just even being neutral and normalizing your body. The style of treatment that we try first is actually called family-based treatment. So having support and having accountability is a big part of it. You're going to need support from people, and asking for that is a big part of being able to do recovery. It's a long process, but it is part of it.
I'm Heaven Walter. I started having an eating disorder when I was continuously getting bullied about my weight and how I look. They're telling me I'm fat, but then again, they're telling me I'm too skinny. You see all these Photoshop type of pictures. You see these girls that are small and pretty and they're models and they're making money, and it's oh, I want to be like them. I want to be like those models. I want to be beautiful just like them. My mind's taken over and it's no, you're not hungry. You don't want food. You're just going to starve. Either I would stop eating or I would eat to the point where I kind of get really sick. My thing when I did have an eating disorder was it makes me feel good when I don't eat. It makes me feel like I'm losing weight and it's good and it's healthy. I felt really sad because I couldn't really understand why I felt the way I felt. I needed a little bit of support. I knew I wasn't feeling right, and if I continuously did not eat and not do what I need to do to stay healthy, then it was saying goodbye to what I've always hoped and dreamed about actually doing. Putting out more confidence for everybody else. Just let them know that no matter how they look, they're still beautiful.
My eating disorder started in high school. It was a little bit vague at the time, I wasn't aware. My mindset was very healthy at the beginning and okay, well, I'm just gonna eat better food and exercise. It kind of spiraled from there. I went to school out in Oregon for my freshman year, being far away from home and a total new environment. And then the first week of school, I had a childhood friend, die. I was binging and purging and with more bulimia. And then after that, using a lot of anorexia symptoms, a lot of over-exercising. It's weird to think about and kind of blurry, but I think a lot of the reason that I was able to overcome my eating disorder was based on the support system that I had with my parents and my family and friends. It is more common than you think. It doesn't discriminate against gender or age. It's not a choice, and that people need to reach out to the people that they think are suffering. It is okay to ask somebody if they're struggling and how they can help.